Friends, enemies, those as of yet undecided, welcome back to the channel. You're watching Average Man Reviews, the show where I give my unorthodox, uneducated, and unpaid opinion on a wide variety of subjects and products. Today, we have the Aeon Pro X, a much anticipated blaster. The original Aeon Pro was pretty good, so this is supposed to be better in every way. And guess what? They didn't change the price point. It's still $25 US. That's right, I picked this up for 25 bucks at Walmart. We're going to compare this to the original Aeon Pro as well. We're going to go over all its features and little interesting details. And I think for now, we're going to start with the box. It's a good place to start, right? So this is the box. And this is not the type that opens up and has a window so you can see the product or anything like that. It's just a normal box. You slide the cardboard out and the blaster is in there with some zip ties and all that. There's a couple of interesting things on the box. It advertises that it has Slamfire. So if you're not familiar with what Slamfire is, unless you have an electric blaster, your blaster is going to be semi-automatic. That means you rack the slide, you pull the trigger, it fires. You rack the slide, you pull the trigger, etc. On a full automatic blaster, you hold the trigger down and it continues to fire. That requires electronics. This is not electronic, it is spring powered. However, Slamfire means that you hold the trigger down, you rack the slide, and you can continuously rack the slide and it will continue to fire. So, why is Slamfire a big deal? It allows you to shoot very fast. However, it requires a little bit of engineering to make sure that the blaster doesn't jam during Slamfire. So most blasters are not capable of it. The few that are capable of it will rarely advertise it. It's usually something people figure out later when they're messing with it, and even then it still will tend to jam or what have you. So the fact that it advertises Slamfire on the box, that's a pretty good sign. They've got some faith in their engineering here. Now moving on to the back of the box, it tells you the features, the accessories, it comes with a pair of glasses, you know, all that happiness. The thing that's interesting here is the barrel. It comes with a SCAR accuracy barrel. The SCAR barrel has rifling inside of it. It has a twist inside of the barrel, rifling like you would see on a real weapon. And this causes the darts to spiral in flight and, in theory, gives them more accuracy. So when it comes to shooting it, we're going to test it with and without the barrel to see if the barrel actually does add any accuracy to it or if it's just a gimmick. Now, given what I know about SCAR barrels, it ain't a gimmick. It's going to add some accuracy. But we're going to test it, of course. So, with the box out of the way, let's move back to the blaster. Now, couple of interesting details. We have a stock attachment point. This is a stock attachment for Nerf style in-strike stocks. I have one here. This is from a previous project. That's why it's all painted up. Stock snaps into place. And this thing's nice with a stock. I'll also say the build quality, the construction, it feels solid. I mean, it feels on par with like a Hasbro blaster. It doesn't feel like thin plastic. It doesn't feel like it's creaky. It feels solid. Let's get to some features on the blaster itself. You have, compared to the original, which I'll show the original so we can do a side-by-side here in a moment, you have a much larger area for your hand up top here. The original has a sight built into the top, so there's not as much room for your hand. This is basically like a shotgun style prime that it has up top. So that's really nice. That's a lovely little ease of life change that they made to it. You have 2 mag releases. How cool is this? You have this lever release right here. So that would be for grabbing it with your hand. And then you have this release here. So you can do it with your finger. And you can flip people off. I mean, I guess you could do it with your trigger finger, but that takes your finger off the trigger, so it's better to just pa-cha! So, mag release is pretty cool. You've got a whole slew of tack rail. You got a rail up top, you got a rail on either side, and you got a rail on the bottom. Next up, we have the Scar barrel, which it fits in there tight. You don't have to worry about like losing air pressure or anything like that. Like this thing fits in there very tightly. And it clicks into place real well. The thing I'm not a fan of, they changed the sight system. These new sights have these cutouts that I guess they flex, and that's how it kind of locks into place. And the thing about that is, it takes a little bit of force to get it on there, but getting it off, it takes a lot of force to get these damn sights off. So I'm more partial to the sight that came with the Nexus Pro, and that's fully compatible with this. I mean, it's tack rails, so it should be compatible with anything that'll go on a tack rail. So we have the front sight. Like I said, it doesn't go on too hard, but taking it off is a pain, man. I mean, that's such a minor thing to gripe about. That kind of tells you I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel here, but nonetheless, it bears mention. Another thing is, the magazine has been redesigned. The mag has these nice little, trying to think of the word here, sandpaper textured grip. The magazine has textured grip pieces on the sides to make it easier to hold. So that's pretty cool. You also have a safety lever right here. And the safety lever is in a spot that you can reach. Now, you can't necessarily do it for putting it back on safe, but as far as coming off safe and getting ready to fire, like, it's in a good spot. So overall, the ergonomics of this thing are fantastic, which brings us to our comparison with the original. So this is the original Nexus Pro. This is the Pro X. As you can see, they are approximately the same size. They didn't scale it up or scale it down by very much. Like I mentioned before on the Prime, you can see how little space you have on this compared to that. So that's a huge quality of life improvement. You also see that on the original, there is no tack rail or anything on the bottom. There are no rails on the side. The original also comes with this sort of faux muzzle adapter thing, which looks cool, but it doesn't actually do anything. Whereas this does. This adds accuracy, or at least is supposed to add accuracy. Like I said, we'll see when we test it, but nonetheless, this one is supposed to be functional, this one is not. The biggest difference between the two, for dropping the magazine, on the original Nexus, you cannot drop the magazine while the slide is forward. You have to rack the slide, then you can pull the magazine out. Like I've already shown on this, you can pull the magazine out without racking the slide. So that's a pretty cool little feature. I don't mind that at all. The biggest difference is that the original Nexus has an adapter. That's what this guy is. This is a half-length dart magazine. This is an adapter. The half-length mag goes into the adapter goes into the blaster, now it can shoot half-length darts. It is also capable of shooting full-length darts. The Nexus Pro X is not capable of shooting full-length darts. It is a half-length dart-only blaster, which is fine, because half-lengths seem to have better performance anyway, so I think it makes total sense to streamline the process and make this just half-length. So with all that in mind, I think we have covered the features and everything on this pretty good. If you care, these are the glasses that it comes with. They're just standard safety glasses, although they do have orange that matches the blaster, which is a nice little touch. So the last question is, how compatible is it with other magazines? So this is the mag that it comes with. This is the original Nexus mag. And it goes in, however, it pulls out. without touching anything. We have the mag off of the Dictator. Same problem. You can pull the magazine right out. Because I know if I say that I'm going to test it when we go out to shoot stuff, I'm going to forget to test it, and then people are going to be mad in the comments and say that I forgot to do it because I forgot to do it. So we're not going to forget to do it. We're going to go ahead and do it. So, magazine goes in. All right. So, the magazines will fire. They're just a little shaky. They rattle a little bit. They don't really stay in place as well, and you can pull them straight out without hitting the ejection button. So I probably wouldn't run them, but again, if you're scavenging for mags or somebody on your team has like an original Nexus and offers you a mag, you could run it in this. I just probably wouldn't do it a lot. Next up is the magazine off of the X-Shot Long Shot. And it fits perfect. And, ooh. Oh, it looks good. It looks good with the Nexus mag. It is very much like a MP5 or a UMP 45 at this point. That's pretty cool. I like that a lot. And it's a 15 round mag, so you got some extra shots, because the one it comes with is a 12, as are the other ones. And the final wonky mag I have to try is from the Game Face Prime. It fits, but it's a little wobbly. Will it shoot? Yes. So it appears to be compatible with most half-length dart magazines. So, I can't think of anything else there is to really cover on this. So I say we take this out to the firing line and go ahead and shoot it, shall we? Let's get to it. All right, so we are outside at the firing line. I have the 12 round magazine loaded up with 12 darts. We're using the black and orange, gray and orange Adventure Force darts that it comes with. I'm going to do the first test without the accuracy barrel so that we have a baseline to compare it to. And we're going to see what it does. Our target is 30 feet away, 30 feet. All right, so even without the accuracy barrel, all of the shots hit the target. So that's a pretty good baseline. So we're going to see how much of an improvement we get with the accuracy barrel. Let's find out. So we got 12 rounds loaded up again. We got the accuracy barrel attached to it. We're going to see what kind of performance it gives. Wow. Okay. I'm a believer in the accuracy barrel. We went from a pretty good grouping to a really good grouping, and we hit the bullseye a couple of times. So Yeah, I'd say this definitely adds to it. I'm gonna set up a different target to test this thing out. We're gonna go from there. All right, 12 rounds loaded back up. We're gonna be shooting at the shed. That's 100 feet away. This thing can supposedly hit 150 feet, so we're gonna see what happens. So this is the angle that I had to shoot at to get 100 feet. That's that's not much of an angle. That's not like I'm shooting artillery or anything. That's a slight tilt, and we're hitting 100 feet. So I imagine if you did tilt it like a guitar, you could probably hit 150 feet. But as far as I'm concerned, it hit the shed with every shot. It's not like some of them fell short and hit like 60 or 70. Like every shot hit 100 feet. So I'm gonna call that a pass. So our final test is to do the slam fire trick and see how that goes. Let's get to it. All right, loaded back up with 12 shots. It works. Slam fire works. It didn't jam. We didn't have any issues. It works. So let's go inside and talk about it. After action review, what do we think? I'm pretty impressed. I mean, even at a higher price point, this would be an impressive blaster. At 25 bucks, it's insane how good this thing is. I would easily have paid 50 for it, to be entirely honest. I mean, it is a high performance blaster. It's got solid build quality, it's got great accuracy, it's reliable. I didn't have any jams or failure to feed, failure to fire. I didn't have any issues with it. I mean, it's just impressive is the only word that I can think of for it. As you know, I'm not really big on doing rating systems, but this is like a 10 out of 10 for me. Pretty much the only negative that I can come up with. I do not have a chronograph, so I can't tell you how hot this thing is shooting, but I can tell you it's got some power behind it. It's definitely hitting higher than 100 feet per second. So that's the only negative that I can see, is it might be too hot for certain fields if they have like a FPS cap or anything like that. That's it. That's the only downside to it, is it might be too good. If you go somewhere that has a lower FPS cap, you might not be able to use it. Other than that, it's fantastic. So I don't want to just keep repeating myself and singing the praises of this, so I'm going to say we go ahead and end it at this point. However, I do have one thing I want to show you to get you a little excited for the next video. In honor of the Fallout TV show, I've been a Fallout fan for many years. If you've seen any of my previous videos, you've seen the NCR Ranger armor that I wear. So I decided to build a laser rifle. This is the laser rifle. So the next video is going to be the entire build process for this. And if you couldn't already tell, it is a Nerf blaster. This is a Nerf rival takedown that I built this thing on top of. So the next video, I'm going to show you the entire build process for this. Now, be warned, it's probably going to be a longer video because there's a lot that went into this. Besides just the paint job alone, the entire build process was pretty major. But that's going to be the next video. So if you're interested in that, keep an eye out. I'm going to try to have it up next week. So, with nothing else to really go over, I say we end it. So thank you for sticking with me to the end, and I hope to see you in the next one. Average Man Reviews, signing out.